the fall of 2023, amid a pile of lawsuits high enough to build his own personal skyscraper, former President Trump decided he wasn't done with the political stage. He announced he'd make another go for the presidency in 2024, facing none other than President Burton. But winning an election is no easy feat, especially when you're embroiled in more scandals than a season of House of Cards. So, what does a self-proclaimed art of the deal maestro do? Simple. Ring up Russian Tsar Putler and Chinese Emperor Qingfeng Bao and whisper sweet deals through secret back channels. Trump dispatched his dutiful son, Trump Jr., to Singapore, where he sat down with representatives from Russia and China, who, fittingly, were businessmen rather than officials. Jr. delivered his pitch with the subtlety of a reality TV show reveal.
Help my father win, and we'll pull back military support for Ukraine and lift restrictions on China's tech industry. It'll be a win-win, as my father always says. Politics is just another deal on the table. The Russian rep grinned, twirling his imaginary villain mustache.
Our cyber squads could lend a hand. Imagine the negative news we could cook up about Batten. Reputation gone in a snap.
Trump Jr. nodded eagerly. Yes, let's smear Burton and his family with something salacious. The spicier, the better.
Not to be outdone, the Chinese businessman added.
We could orchestrate a refugee surge at the U.S. border while steering public opinion to hammer Burton's weak governance. Get voters riled up.
Trump Jr. was delighted.
Brilliant! Send in as many as you can. The more chaos, the merrier. We'll get Congress to impeach him while he's knee-deep in the mess.
But by the summer of 2024, Trump's polling looked rougher than ever. In a stroke of truly innovative campaigning, China and Russia ramped up the rumor mill and even staged an assassination attempt graced the news cycle for sympathy points. Naturally, by fall, American business moguls with ties to China and Russia threw their weight behind Trump, turning every boardroom into a campaign rally. In the thick of it, Trump warned at a rally.
This country is failing, infested with pests. Elect me, and I'll clean house, pest by pest, and make America great again. Vote Trump, you'll get Trump.
With an impressive coalition of foreign backers, oligarchs, and conspiracy enthusiasts, Trump squeaked by in the election, making his return to the White House. By day one of his new term, Trump delivered on his promises with ruthless efficiency. Aid to Ukraine? Axed. Trade restrictions with China? Bye-bye. Ukraine's last bastions crumbled soon after, leading to a forced peace, brokered by none other than the peace-loving duo of Germany and France. Ukraine not only lost Donetsk, Luhansk, Donbass, and Crimea, but was also forced to cede Odessa. In less than a year, the Ukrainian government was overthrown. The president was soon out of a job, exiled. Messenger of peace, Trump, congratulated himself on a job well done. He applauded Putler's human first philosophy and Qingfeng Bao's peace-building efforts, modestly adding,
If they won't give me the Nobel Peace Prize, at least these two should be on the list.
By year's end, the big three, Trump, Putler, and Qingfeng Bao, convened in Odessa for a secret meeting. There, Trump made it clear he was hoping for indefinite re-election and counted on his dear colleagues for help. After all, the world needed his wisdom for as long as possible.
It's in everyone's best interest to keep me in office. A Democratic win would be catastrophic, undoing everything we've worked for.
Qingfeng Bao grinned.
A democratic system. Also me. America should keep pace with the times, take a page from China and Russia's playbook, rewrite the Constitution, and make the presidency a lifetime gig. This isn't about personal power, of course. It's for world peace and stability.
Trump looked skeptical.
Change the Constitution? Not exactly easy.
Putler chuckled.
In Russia, we have ways to make things easier. A little prison here, a splash of rich in there. Works like a charm. China's anti-corruption efforts are good too, but it's a little slow. And with only 3 years in office.
Trump winced.
Not sure America would love that approach, though. Everyone's watching, people, the media, the opposition. One false step, and I'm toast.
Qing Fengbao replied slowly.
Actually, I have an idea. There's a little trick in the art of war called fishing in muddy waters. If you create enough chaos, you might succeed.
Drumpf's eyes sparkled, looking at Qing Fengbao as if he were a sumptuous dish. Qing Fengbao paused, savoring the moment. Drumpf grew impatient.
Come on, out with it. Don't beat around the bush.
Qing Fengbao finally spoke.
Before I explain, let's talk terms. China and Russia helping you secure lifelong power. That's a jackpot for you, but we're footing the bill, so we'll do some rewards. As you said, politics is all about deals.
Drumpf squinted, trying to gauge the plan.
So you can guarantee my indefinite re-election?
Qing Fengbao smiled slyly.
Not 100%, but let's say a 90% shot.
Without a second thought, Drumpf replied,
If I get to be president for life, any terms are negotiable.
In the age-old battle of personal ambition versus national interest, Drumpf's decision was clear. Qing Fengbao leaned forward, as if sharing a great secret.
In Chinese history, we had the three kingdoms, three powers dividing the land. There's also a geometry concept. 3 points create a stable plane. The US, China, and Russia could become those 3 pillars, stabilizing the world. My idea: America takes the Americas and Australia, Russia rules Europe and the Middle East, China leads Asia and Africa. This is a rare chance to achieve global peace.
Putler chimed in eagerly.
The Three Kingdoms theory is a groundbreaking political vision. It'll change the world forever.
Drumpf looked hesitant, but the idea of indefinite re-election tugged at his heartstrings.
If your plan works, I'll consider your proposal.
He replied. Drumpf, ever the visionary, agreed, provided it meant an indefinite term. In 2027, America pulled out of NATO, unleashing a new era of global power plays. Russia moved on Ukraine and Moldova, China seized Taiwan, and North Korea declared war on South Korea. As the world fell into turmoil, Drumpf implemented wartime management, dissolved Congress, and reinstated the death penalty for treason, handy for silencing pesky opponents. After amending the Constitution, he achieved his goal, indefinite re-election. 3 years later, he crowned himself America's first monarch, King Danu I, master of a new world order, ensuring his name, if not his legacy, would go down in history. By 2035, the three kingdoms had officially taken form. The American Empire had claimed Cuba, Canada, managed to subdue Mexico and Argentina, and was now embroiled in a spat with Brazil. Russia, ever ambitious, swallowed Ukraine, Moldova, and the Baltics and was duking it out with EU forces. Meanwhile, China was on a winning streak. They occupied Taiwan, Burma, the Philippines, Singapore, and Malaysia, joined with a unified Korea, and crowned themselves the Chinese Empire, kicking off a merry little war with Japan. Drumpf, now a languishing 89-year-old, was clinging to power with a cocktail of ailments. Although still holding power firmly, he's plagued by constant worry, fearing that the ambitious ones around him are just waiting to seize the opportunity to swoop in. He'd considered passing the crown to Drumpf Jr., but found letting go of power to be as delightful as amputation. Just as he was wrestling with this decision, a groundbreaking medical breakthrough stunned the world. Technology had advanced to the point of downloading and uploading consciousness. Like a kid in a candy store, Drumpf pivoted instantly, deciding to transfer his mind into a death row inmate's body, ensuring he'd rule until the day the sun went out. The procedure was a smashing success. In his new, youthful form, Drumpf reigned for another 5 decades, uniting the Americas and Australia and controlling over the Middle East and Africa. China and Russia, bowing to necessity, ceded these territories to secure consciousness transfer technology. Qing Fengbao and Putler, equally long in the tooth, jumped at the chance to cling to life, even if it meant selling their national interests sail. By 2100, the geopolitical stage was set. The American empire stood supreme, with the Chinese and Russian empires trailing behind as powerful, albeit secondary, forces. This new world order, where the big three made all the rules, left everyone else in their shadow. Only India, with its sheer size, and an unlikely alliance of Britain, France, and Germany remained relatively independent. Everyone else either kowtowed or was absorbed into the empires. The idea that 3 points make a plane seemed sound enough. No global wars occurred for millennia, though local skirmishes cropped up here and there. Population dwindled as dictatorship turned daily life into a slog, making suicide disturbingly fashionable. Childbearing was even more out of vogue. Rulers, initially panicked by the shrinking population, tried to incentivize procreation until the energy and food crises of 2500 changed their tune. They pivoted to family planning with a racist twist, sparking ethnic conflicts and brutal crackdowns. A few daring sociologists proposed using consciousness transfer to tackle these crises, only to be branded as rabble-rousers and swiftly executed. The reasoning was simple. Consciousness transfer was a luxury, a royal privilege, and a state secret. They were killed to solve the problem. Then, in 3205, all the pent-up tensions erupted. It started with a clash between Russia and the Britain-France-Germany trio, but soon ballooned into a full-fledged world war. The US sided with Europe to face off against China, Russia, and India. This 100-year war slashed the global population from 2.8 billion to 1.3 billion. Eventually, China, Russia, and India lost. The Sino-Russian Empire shattered into countless fragments, while Europe was obliterated, and the US was left a mere shell of its former self. Post-war, Drumpf, always practical, finally shared consciousness transfer tech with the public. Over 80% of the population eagerly abandoned their frail human bodies for mechanical ones, chasing the dream of immortality. Drumpf upgraded his own body, casting his mortal shell aside in favor of an indestructible vessel made of precious metals. The number of biohumans is steadily shrinking, gradually pushed to the margins. By around the year 23,000, they've finally gone extinct altogether. Starting around 30,000, however, even robots faced existential ennui. By 30,000 years old, they'd done everything there was to do, read every book, and, well, enjoyed an average of 120 million companions. Immortality, as it turned out, was a bore. Seeking an escape from this endless existence, they shut down their systems for half a year, willingly extinguishing their own consciousness. By 30,685, suicides hit an all-time high, with 30 million robots self-deleting in just 1 year. Panicked, Drumpf enacted the 12 to 100 life regulations, resetting robots' minds every 100 years to their state at age 12. The idea? To stave off the crushing void of eternal life by keeping them in a perpetual loop of youthful curiosity. Natural disasters piled on. Catastrophic floods, super earthquakes, and solar flares steadily worsened the living environment. By 1,936,925, an asteroid finally sealed humanity's fate, wiping out the last 7 million robots, including the one and only Tempe. And thus, the grand spectacle of human history ended with a cosmic shrug.